Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're totally destroying a massive, deeply ingrained myth about you, me, and exactly why we drag ourselves out of bed to go to work. We're going to use cold, hard data to prove that almost everything we've been told about human motivation is, well, completely wrong. So ask yourself this: do you hunt for a job to build a bright, shiny future? Or are you just running out of pure terror of losing the lifestyle you literally just had? Standard economists? They think you're basically a robot, a perfectly rational calculator plotting out maximum lifetime wealth. But spoiler alert, they are dead wrong. The data proves we are driven almost entirely by fear and impatience. Section 1. Economists' ignorant assumption. You are not a robot. For decades, the standard economic model had this massive blind spot. It assumes the rational worker mathematically plans out long-term payoffs. It's a nice thought, right? But reality hits back hard. In the real world, we are emotional workers. We don't mathematically plan ahead. We react. We only really care about the immediate sting of whatever income we just lost.
Section 2. Hungary's hardcore experiment, the 2005 policy shock. Let's see how this actually played out.
To prove this anti-robot theory, we've got a brutal, real-world natural experiment. Back in 2005, the Hungarian government completely shocked their unemployment system. In 2004, unemployed workers got a high, flat payout for a solid 270 days. But in November 2005, they flipped the script. They split the timeline: 90 days of high payouts, then a massive drop, followed by 180 days of low payouts. Here's the kicker, though. The total amount of cash paid out over those 270 days? Exactly the same. But the timeline was twisted specifically to trigger our psychological traps.
The data on this is absolutely brilliant. Under the old system, it was just a nice, flat, comfortable ride until day 270, where they finally pulled the rug out. But the new system, that introduced a harsh, terrifying cash cut really early on, right at day 90. It's the exact same total cash overall, but with entirely different psychological cliff edges. Section 3. Data slaps, standard model bankrupt, the smoking gun of human panic.
Okay, get ready for the absolute greatest data slap in modern economics. If the standard economists were right, behavior after day 270 would be mathematically identical for everyone, right? Because the future benefits moving forward were exactly the same. But here's the smoking gun. Right at day 270, under the old flat rate system, there is a massive, towering spike in people suddenly finding jobs. The money vanished and pure, unadulterated human panic set in. The workers facing that sudden drop didn't rationally plan ahead at all. If they were rational, they would have smoothly started their job search weeks prior. But no, instead they waited until they were staring right over the edge of the cliff. The money disappeared, they completely freaked out, and they frantically scrambled to accept literally any job they could get their hands on. Section 4. Finding truth, loss aversion, and the income hangover. So why exactly does this panic happen? It isn't logic. It's a deeply ingrained psychological flaw known as the income hangover. See, you don't actually care about your absolute total wealth. You only care that your wallet feels lighter today than it did yesterday. If you were making $100 and now you're making 50, you are in absolute agony. We judge our current misery strictly by comparing it to our most recent paycheck. We absolutely hate losing what we just had.
Because of this, our drive to work isn't some constant noble effort. It's a frantic, entirely emotional roller coaster. Step 1, the layoff shock hits, and you search frantically. Step 2, lazy adaptation. You get used to those unemployment checks, your reference point adjusts, and you relax. Step 3, you realize the next benefit cut is coming, and that sudden panic comes roaring back. And finally, step 4, ultimate surrender to low income.
There's a specific number tied to this in the study: 0.58. That is the estimated present bias parameter. And in plain English, that proves we are incredibly impatient creatures. We demand comfort today, right now. And we happily kick the hard, stressful work of job hunting down the road to tomorrow. We just aren't the long-term planners we pretend to be. And the math completely backs this up. When researchers ran the numbers through different economic models, the standard economic theory was a terrible fit. It was totally bankrupt when faced with our messy, fearful reality, failing completely to predict those panic spikes. Habit formation models, mediocre at best. But the income hangover model, a perfect fit. It nailed the human freakout at the exact days the money dropped. Now, to be completely transparent here, even this groundbreaking data has its blind spots. The researchers had to make a few assumptions. For one, they ignored how picky workers might be about the actual wages they eventually accept. They also assumed workers are strictly hand-to-mouth spenders, spending cash the exact second they get it. And they ignored some extreme outliers. But honestly, none of that breaks the core finding. The panic is mathematically real.
Section 5. How policy fits human nature. Weaponizing the hangover.
This data absolutely changes everything about how governments treat the unemployed. There's a direct quote from the findings that says, triggering smaller, earlier benefit drops is an inexpensive way to achieve the goal of making job seekers search harder. It sounds incredibly harsh, doesn't it? But stepping down benefits earlier is a cheap, proven way to weaponize our fear of loss. It forces people back into the workforce faster without spending an extra dime. We all really like to think we're in total control of our destinies. But look at the data. Are your career choices truly your own? Or are they just a desperate, completely predictable reaction to a manipulated paycheck? Think deeply about that terrifying little reality the next time you feel the sudden, urgent need to update your resume. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.